and it's like shoulder-mounted cell phone, right? And I remember, because I saw that movie in first run, and I remember, wow, that's cool. He could walk, and there's no wires, and he's talking on a phone. And any of us today looking at that and say, what the hell were we thinking?
I remember my brother's first cell phone was about the size of that book, that physics energy book. And you had to carry
that book on my table.
It had a handle that just pulled out.
Oh, yeah.
It still had like a receiver to catch, like a, and the buttons were separate. It was like,
but it was portable.
It was portable. I used to sit in my brother's car and talk to my girlfriend at the time, like 1988.
Showing off in front of your girlfriend.
You know, because he had free minutes after like 9 o'clock, so I would use it then, and it wasn't long distance, didn't matter.
Right. So the evidence you're living in special times is that at every moment you think you're living in special times.
Okay, let's go with not just equals and square. Let's say from like the mid 1800s to now, we made some big strides. But what was happening before that just we were not doing anything? It just seems like we were not being logical back then.
In the middle of the 1800s, we discovered and perfected and harnessed electricity.
Right, that's what I'm saying. When all that started.
Since you want to go before electricity?
Yeah, before that. Like, let's go 1700s.
Oh.
We were just like, what were we doing?
The steam engine.
Okay.
Steam ships. Excuse me.
All right. All right, let's go 1600s.
1600s. We discovered that Earth goes around the sun. The Earth is not in the middle of the known universe.
What was that guy's name again? That was Galileo? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
So, no, they were discoveries.
Making sure you're
legit.
Making sure this isn't just internet trickery.
It is true that discoveries happened less frequently.
Right.
It is less likely that there was an engineering discovery that would change your life at that time. That is true. But think of the mindset. If any discovery changed your life at that time, that was amazing.
Right. But that's
because previously it didn't change anybody's life. It changed it over generations.
Right. That's when things were selling like hotcakes. What I'm saying is, people cared about hot cakes at that time.
Yes.
That was the best part of their day.
And you go later on, there were advances in medicine. We discovered cures, and there was,
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is, like, they were all farther apart. Well, spread apart more, and they seem like...
1700s into the 1800s, we invent a chronometer that's seaworthy, so we can figure out longitude on Earth, which has precision navigation. This stuff, you think you live in special times, just go back then and you'll be celebrating that. I'm just saying.
No, what I'm saying is that I feel like every day we're discovering something new that's going to change our lives. But now there's so many things coming in, there's so many things that we're discovering that they hold back on us now. Like, it's almost like, well, hold on a second.
Yeah, it's too much for you.
Yeah,
we gotta be nice. We gotta
I was talking to a computer guy the other day, and he was telling me about technology that is about to be introduced to the public. He said, but we've had this for over 12 years.
Okay.
And now they're introducing it to the public, and they make it seem like it's the newest, greatest thing. Because
they have a marketability of the other stuff, and they want to get their money's worth out of it.
Right. It's
R&D that produced it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's so much...
They're holding back. It's an interesting concept. So if we keep this up, we could be a century behind what we could be doing. Just if they're trying to make a buck off of stuff that they invented 100 years ago.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting. This is an interesting conspiracy theory.
I don't know if it's conspiracy or it's just a hypothesis.
stretch, and Jupiter's out there.
Right.
Jupiter, but tug on it.
There's a lot of gravity.
There's a little bit, tug on it, as we come around back the other side. And of course, everybody's moving in the same direction around the sun, so the Earth would have to go a little farther in its orbit to be aligned again with Jupiter, but it's going to tug on it. Look at all these little tugs, and he says, I'm worried that the solar system will go unstable. Because if it keeps tugging on it, it keeps pulling it away. The previously stable orbit would just decay into chaos. You know what he says? He said, every now and then God fixes things.
Well, there you go.
That's the answer.
Even Isaac Newton. Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
When in doubt, just let God figure it out.
Right, I can't figure it out.
God did it.
Fast forward 113 years. We get to the Laplace. And he developed, I don't think he invented, but he developed a new branch of calculus called perturbation theory. Unknown to Newton, even though Newton invented calculus.
Right.
He could have said, in order to solve this problem, let me invent
I need more calculus.
More calculus.
I just need more calculus.
I just need more calculus. Didn't do it. So, Laplace developed perturbation theory. And it comes down to, we have two bodies, the sun and the earth in this case. And the third one, the tug is small, but it's repeating. It's not a big tug. Jupiter's not sitting right here.
Right.
Way out there. Way out there. It's just a little tug. And so, the equation is in such a way and realize that a two-body system that is tugged often by something small, that it all cancels out in the end. Okay? So when it's out here, the tug is a little bit that way, but now it's over here, and the tug is less. All right? And then sometimes it's tugging you in this direction when that's the configuration. You add it all up, it all cancels out. You could not have known that without this new branch of calculus. So that took care of that third body. By the way, there's a quick aside. This is now, we're up to the year 1800. You know who summoned up these books? Napoleon read all the books he could on physics, engineering, and metallurgy. He was a smart tyrant. All right. So he summons up the book. Doesn't have to be translated because they're both in French. He reads it, goes to Laplace and says, Monsieur, this is a beautiful piece of work, brilliant, but you make no mention of the architect of the system. He's referring to God. And Laplace replied, Sir, I had no need for that hypothesis.
That's a mic drop. That is tough.
Man, that's a dig on Napoleon and on Newton. Let's say we have not just the planet and one of its moons, but let's say we have a star and another star, double star system, famously portrayed in what film?
Star Wars.
But if you take a third sun and put it there, about approximately the same size, then what kind of orbits would they have? Now, give me two fists here, okay? So I'm feeling this one, but now I feel that where's my gravitational allegiance? Am I going to come through?
Right.
But then am I going to go that way or this way? So I'm coming into the system, and do I go to you in orbit? But wait, that you're still coming around here?
Right.
Now I feel this. And so it turns out the orbits of a three-body problem are mathematically chaotic.
Yes. I was about to say, that did not seem very stable.
Something has to give. Two of these are going to collide.
Right.
One is going to get ejected.
Right.
Okay. That is the classical three-body problem. Three objects of approximately similar mass trying to maintain a stable orbit. And it goes chaotic with just three objects.
Look at that.
It is unsolvable. You can calculate incrementally what's happening and track it until the system dies or splits apart or whatever. But you cannot analytically predict the future of the three-body system, because what chaos will do for you in your mathematical model is if you change the initial conditions by a little bit,
Right.
a little bit, the solution diverges.
Further down the line, it goes
Crazy. It's not just a little bit different later on down the line.
Exactly.
It is exponentially different. Correct.
Wow.
With the smallest increment of distance.
Right.
So I'll say, I'll move you in this direction in this model, and then in a slightly different direction the other one, it goes chaotic. That's what we mean by chaos.
Right.
Okay. It's mathematically defined. Okay. Now there's something called the restricted three-body problem.
Never heard.
You have, give me your two things.
Right,
Okay,
two planets.
You got that. Okay.
Two bodies.
You got your two bodies. Now, the third body is little. Now, you two will orbit each other.
Right.
Okay? And then this, it's not messing with them.
Right.
So there's restricted three-body problem. We have two masses of approximately equal and one that's much less than the other two. That is solvable.
Right.
It's called the restricted three-body problem.
Gotcha.
In the Star Wars case, that's the restricted three-body problem.
Right. Because you have the two stars and you have the little planet.
The little
So
planet.
it's no
There it
big
is.
deal.
And it's even better because the planet is so far away that it only really saw one merged gravity of the two stars.
Right. Okay.
You're far enough away. That difference is not really mattering to you. You maintain one stable orbit around them both.
Around both stars.
Both stars. Okay?
Okay.
Now, if it got really close, then you'll have issues. Because then, again, gravitational allegiance matters. The stars are not going to care, but you will, because you'll get eaten.
You don't know where to go.
You don't know where to go.
I'm in love with two stars. And I don't know what to do. Which way do I turn?
So anyhow, so the three-body problem, the takeaway here is it's unsolvable.
Yes.
Not just because we don't know how to do it yet, because it's mathematically
It's
unsolvable.
built into the system.
The system is chaotic. Okay, unless you make certain assumptions about the system that you would then invoke so that you can solve it. And so one of them is a small object around bigger ones. Another one, oh, by the way, in this solution with Jupiter out there, slightly tugging.
Right.
It turns out over a very long time scale, this is chaotic. But much longer time scale than Newton ever imagined. Okay? Because, yes, we are small compared to the sun, but Jupiter isn't. All right? And we're trying to orbit between them. Right? So that's all. It's not deeper than that.
It's not there. Yeah.
Right? I could have said the four-body problem, but this problem begins at the three-body problem.
Right. Because you're going to have the same thing in the four bodies or
Exactly.
five bodies. It's going to be the same.
And we have star clusters with thousands of stars
Right.
in them, and they're all just orbiting. We can model it, but we cannot predict with precision where everybody's going to be at any given time.
Okay.
Because it's chaotic.
Chaos. So it's about the chaos.
So what we do is we model the chaos.
Right.
Right? We say this will be statistically looking like this over time. You're not going to track one object through the system.
Exactly.
For eternity. That's not going to work.
It's so cool.
Yeah. All right.
That is so cool.
There it is. Another explainer slipped in torn from the pages of science fiction.
Yes.
Until next time. Looking up.
I don't know everybody's background here, but I was raised in a pretty strict Christian conservative household. That's not necessarily where you want the laughter to fall. No, one year for Christmas, we all got t-shirts that said, "Judge us, we're judging you." And growing up, my parents didn't want anyone brainwashing me, except for them. So they homeschooled me. Do we have any other socially special people here tonight? Homeschoolers, we're not taught this, but this is how you raise your hands. None? All of you guys were wait, one? Oh, that's perfect, that's awesome. Okay, this is for you, since everybody else was educated on the Devil's Playground. You ready? Yay! You know what that is, right? That was a homeschool high five. We're gonna give it one more second. This row is explaining it to each other. There's no rush, you guys. No jokes left behind. I've got 7 hours. I wasn't lying. No, I did actually. I had a good childhood, a good upbringing. I was raised, though, what I like to call Amish light. So just a little behind on pop culture. I don't think I heard a rap song until I was in my early 20s. And that's when I learned I do like some rap, but when I try to rap, I can't pull it off. Maybe because I am what one dermatologist once called severely Caucasian. I like to call rain Irish tanning weather. No, so when I try to rap, I just end up sounding like a Disney character. I'm like, when we get down in the clubs, all the girls, they go like, Little Mermaid fans, anyone? Good job. I was not allowed to watch that movie growing up. Because Ariel rebelled against her father and lived. Yeah. So when I got to Los Angeles, you guys, I went wild. I signed up for a hip hop class at a YMCA at 11 a.m. on a Wednesday. #Thug Life. No, the class was this weird mix. It was like me, and then there were some moms, and then there was like Daryl, the stay-at-home dad. And then the other half of the class was all part of this gang called the AARP. So half the class was there, they're like, we're trying to be more hip. And the other half of the class was like, we're here trying not to break a hip. No, everything I do, though, is me just trying to, outdo my siblings. Is anyone else from a really competitive family? Yeah, okay. So I grew up I'm the second of 5 kids, and all of my siblings became these massive overachievers. So, my older sister is a neonatal nurse, daily saves the lives of very small babies. My younger brother and then one of my younger sisters both became officers in the United States Air Force. Yes, oh, thank you. I will take that applause because I trained them. And then my other younger sister, she worked for the government for a while, and she is actually also a mathematics genius. But if you guys think about it, keep her in your thoughts and prayers, because she's actually in a really tough spot right now. She can't decide if she wants to accept a scholarship from MIT or Stanford for grad school. Bless her heart. Thank you for adding that callback into my act. I'm just going to bring you on the road with me, as my audience planned. No, I did tell my sister, I was like, I totally understand your dilemma. I was like, I couldn't decide between Chipotle and Chick-fil-A for lunch. I don't know if it helps your decision, but I got both, so. And then I fell headfirst off of a bunk bed when I was a kid, so here I am telling jokes. No, actually, I think I get better stories than them as a comedian, because you just kind of end up in all these random situations. Not too long ago, I actually got to do comedy in a prison. So I'm the only one in my family who's done time, so that's something. No, but I got there to the prison, and they were like, hey, before we go in, do you need anything? Do you want anything? And at first I was like, no. And then I was like, actually, can I have a phone call? I just want to call my parents and have Nashville County Prison come up on their caller ID. With my voice on the other end being like, hey guys, remember how you homeschooled me to keep me out of jail? I ended up here anyway. I'm happy to be back on the road again with comedy. It's logistically simple for me to kind of travel a lot right now because I don't have kids, I'm not married. Wish I was spoiled in Los Angeles because nobody cares if you're single or married there. They do care if you're married or single in Georgia. almost always ends up coming out sounding like an insult is they'll say, Kristen, I just don't understand why you are still single. And here's the thing. I know exactly why I am still single. And I actually brought that reason with me here this evening, and I'm going to share it with you guys. But here's the deal. It takes just a second to get set up. It's 100% worth the wait. But there's always this weird, awkward silence. So can we kind of rally and have some round of applause and cheering for awkward silences? Awkward silences, everybody! If you do not know what this is a modern-day chastity belt. Because guys in this country don't really want to date 1/3 of a mariachi band.
They don't want drivers knowing this, so listen closely before it gets
Oh my God, that's how it works? Yes, that's so cool. Yes.
Okay.
I'll tell you, urge is tricky.
If air ever rises, well, that wouldn't cause wind. As we know it, because the wind goes horizontally to the surface. If you have rising air because it just got heated, what happened? What has to happen next? You don't create a vacuum below. Well, you do, but then what happens?
You have falling air.
Oh, sorry. Yes. if air rises, you'll also have falling air. That's true in total. But the pocket of atmosphere directly below where the air had gone up, okay, what happens there?
Oh, it has to be filled.
There's got to be filled.
So you get an updraft.
What happens there?
Oh, it has to be filled.
There's got to be filled.
So you get an
And
updraft.
it gets filled from the sides.
Right.
It gets filled from the sides.
Sweet.
So you have rising air. It creates a partial vacuum, which is a pressure difference, and then other air says we have to fill that gap. Let's go there, and so there it goes. Okay.
Nice.
So if you look at hurricanes, for example, very, very low pressure in the middle. You have heated, warm, moist, what we call unstable air. If air is unstable, it rises. Okay? In that low pressure system, all the clouds in the neighborhood want to go there.
Sweet.
Everything wants to go to the center of a hurricane.
It's the Cloud Nightclub.
That's
Yo, man, you going to the Eye tonight? You going to the Eye? Yo, man, I heard the Eye's gonna be hot tonight.
So all the clouds try to come in, but then Earth's rotation sort of veers them to the right. No matter which way they're trying to head into the front entrance of the Eye Club, they veer to the right, and so you have this circulation while the clouds are trying to get to the middle, and this gives you that
Spiraling storm.
that spiral effect, and everybody trying to get into the middle. And so hurricanes have famously fast winds because of this, like hundreds of miles an hour in the fastest of them. Now, if you have air that is descending, okay, air that descends, first it won't make a cloud, okay, so descending air is like generally clear skies. Deserts have descending air, okay. Now, there's certain parts of the world where the descending air is so sort of total, it is just sort of gently descending, and it can go out the sides, but if the area of the descending
nobody wants to go to.
Sorry. You got the hurricane eye, and then you got the doldrums.
Exactly. It's like, man, I couldn't get into the eye last night. Now I gotta go to the doldrums.
The doldrums. So the doldrums are regions of Earth's surface where all the wind has ceased. And if you happen to be a sailing ship that wanders into the doldrums,
Wow.
oh my gosh,
That's bad stuff.
that's it. That's it. Many a ship have just given up the ghost in the doldrums because you can't move it if they don't have oars, and there's no wind, nothing. And they eat up their food supply, they eat each other, whatever, and that's it.
Wow. It's like the great wind garbage patch of the ocean.
Like the plastic patch.
Plastic patch. It just accumulates and goes nowhere. It's the wind
I
version
thought of it that way.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It's a fascinating, disturbed analogy.
It is. Yes. Oh, that's terrible.
Now, a couple other things. So, Mars has famously large windstorms. And we call them dust storms because the wind picks up the dust. You know, the Martian surface dust. Yeah. And so, you can see this. In fact, when it happens, it cloaks the Martian surface. And so our telescopes and space probes, we can't see what's at the bottom. It's basically one of these, like, sandstorms you read about in the desert. But it's like a dust storm on Mars.
Or it's a very clever cloaking device that the Martians use to stop us from looking at them when they're doing stuff on the surface of Mars.
Yeah, exactly, Chuck. That's it. Listen, do you remember the face on Mars? So it was back in the 70s. There was like the famous face on Mars. It was like some kind of a structure that had eye sockets and nose and a mouth. And it looked like a huge one. It was huge. And we got a couple photos of it during the Viking missions. And everyone said, we got to go back. Clearly, there's life there. Okay. By the way, if there's life and that represented it, it would have to be life that had sort of a simian face. Like most life on Earth doesn't have a face. So that would be weird if life on a whole other planet had a humanoid face. That would just be weird. Okay? Just saying. But lobsters don't have. What, did we notice the lobster monument that was there? No, because we're only looking for stuff that looks like us. All right, so we went back, and you saw, and we had better, higher resolution. You saw a hint of like where the eyebrows were in the mouth, but it was mostly sort of. And people said the Martians knew we were looking at it. Yeah, right. Covered it up. They covered it up. Their Mars dust. Here's my point. The Martian atmosphere is 1/100th the thickness of Earth's atmosphere.
Oh, that's terrible. That's barely
It
an
is.
atmosphere.
So it's barely any atmosphere. See, if you move that air 100 miles an hour, you ain't got.
It's like an infant trying to blow out a birthday candle. You know, just
It's like
I'm giving up.
and that's why the whole scene in the movie The Martian, where they can't leave, they're trying to leave the planet.
Oh, don't do
because
it.
a
Don't do it.
windstorm-
Come on,
a dust
don't do
storm
it.
is coming.
Come on, man. Don't do it. Come on, Rocky. Come on. It's Rocky, man.
Johnny, take off any again. Leave Marwati on the surface because they're afraid they'll topple over from the wind.
Oh, man, another movie ruined. Thank you, Neil. Yeah, that can't happen then, right? That just can't even happen.
Yeah, it's not. It's not happening. It might be not dusty and you can't see.
Yeah.
But you're not blowing over in spaceships.
So it's also not gonna pick up a metal rod, and spear you with it. Because
That's crazy.
it's not gonna do that either.
Yeah, it's not tornado speed. Right. So the point is, Mars is also an unevenly heated planet.
And that's why you get it.
Correct.